Welcome back to Starkiller Base. Today we have the second game of the final of our Black Knight Games February 2017 Winter Kit. I do apologize for the delay, but Alfredo's our animations guy and he was off writing exams for the last month. So now that he's back, we can finish our tournament, and on Sunday of this week we'll be recording another tournament that has Spirit of the Rebellion cards, and we'll get coverage of that underway probably next week or so. So here we go. So we have Robertson on the left playing Darth Vader, Kylo Ren, and on the right we have Jeff playing General Grievous and Dooku. So because this is the second game of a best-of-3 match, there is no roll-off. The loser of the previous game, which is Robertson, gets to choose the battlefield. So it looks like Robertson picked his battlefield. Both players brought the Emperor's Throne to the table, so he's chosen to go first rather than taking the shields. I think that I probably would have picked Jeff's battlefield to take the shields myself, because that is a 4 damage delta of 2 shields on my characters versus 2 shields on my opponent's characters and not on me. But maybe he has some plans for going first here, I'm not sure. So Robertson leads off with It Binds All Things. Jeff rolls in Grievous, gets a 3 melee for 1 and a 2 melee, so that's a really scary start. Robertson sounds like he's a little bit flabbergasted as to what to do here. If he's got an isolation or something, that would be nice. So he plays Use the Force and blanks Grievous's 3 melee for 1, so it's not a bad choice. Once again, Robertson is probably going to have to try to chew through Grievous here first, while Dooku gets fully decked out. So Jeff plays out a Force Choke on Dooku, and then Robertson plays a Holocron out on Vader. Jeff rolls in Dooku, gets a Force Choke special and a resource, and then Robertson rolls in Vader and gets a 1 shield. And he actually remembers his Holocron dies, so there we go, that's helpful. So let's see if he remembers to get Jeff to discard a card from Vader's ability. So Jeff uses a Force Choke to damage Vader and blank the Holocron. Robertson rolls in Kylo and gets a 1 melee and a 1 melee. So the players are just discussing the Vader's ability, and it is you may. Luke is a forced ability. You have to draw the card, whereas Vader is a you may, so he doesn't have to. So Jeff is going to do 2 melee damage into Vader from Grievous there. So it looks like he's chosen his primary target. And then Robertson resolves the 2 melee into Grievous to get rid of those shields. So you can see the power of choosing your battlefield. So Jeff takes the resource, Robertson claims and resolves the Holocron special to put a Force Choke in on Vader. It looks like Jeff passes, and the new round's going to start here. So both board states are really close to being identical now. They both have a Force Choke out. Vader's got 3 damage on him, and Grievous does not have any damage, so that 2 shields definitely made the difference. If Robertson had chosen Jeff's battlefield, Vader would have 1 damage on him, and Grievous would have 2 damage on him here, so he'd be ahead. So Robertson's starting off with the Holocron on Kylo. Jeff hardcasts a Force Throat on Dooku. Once again, I apologize for the glare. I tried to get Jeff to put it in the best place possible. We've got an anti-glare lens for the next tournament.
Sorry. That's why I was okay. I'm putting another Sith Holocron on.
So Robertson puts in a second Holocron on Kylo.
I'll activate Dooku.
And then Dooku rolls in, gets a Force Throw special, a blank, and a focus. So that Force Throw is going to cause some problems for Robertson's, well, any of his dice really. Unless he rolls like that. So Kylo rolls in, gets a 1 melee, a blank, a focus, and a blank. Grievous rolls in and gets a 3 melee for 1 and a 3 melee for 1. And of course, Jeff spent all of his money on Force Throw. But of course, he can Force Throw the 3. So Vader comes in and gets a 1 discard and a 2 disrupt. Now, one thing to be clear here is that Robertson should not be exhausting his attachments. There are actually attachments now in the Spirit of the Rebellion that require you to exhaust them to pay the cost of an ability. when you roll in your character, you just exhaust the character, not the upgrades on them as well. So Jeff is discarding to reroll. He gets a 1 resource and a 2 disrupt. So Jeff's not particularly worried about anything to force throw yet. Robertson resolves the discard and gets the mind probe, so Jeff's probably pretty sad to see that one go.
Burn your money.
And then Jeff disrupts Robertson's money. So Jeff's probably waiting for the focus to resolve. Robertson's playing it safe and focusing eKylo's die to a special, so the force throw is not going to do any increased damage there. It looks like Jeff's only got 1 card left, so now that special becomes moot. Jeff discards the reroll and gets a blank. He's not rerolling that 3 melee, so he must be planning on using it with the force throw. So Robertson does 1 melee damage to Grievous. So this eKylo Vader deck hasn't done a whole heck of a lot of damage at this point. Jeff's resolving focus and setting the Grievous die to a 2 melee. When you're playing with the Emperor's Throne Room, you should always think about claiming early and leaving a few dice out on the table to maximize the amount of damage or control you can do. Robertson is disrupting 2, even though Jeff doesn't have any, just to get it off the board so that he can't throw it at him. Grievous is doing 2 damage to Vader with the melee. And then Robertson is claiming and resolving the holocron to put a mobilize in. And then Jeff used force throw to throw the 3 melee into Vader. So Vader's now only got 5 hit points remaining, which is not a very healthy Vader. So hopefully Robertson can see some die control or something here. He's getting hit pretty hard. He hasn't used his bind all things yet either. So Robertson rolls in Vader and gets a 1 resource and a blank. So Vader's not really doing any heavy lifting this game. That's for sure. And Jeff plays out a force choke. So Robertson probably wants to get these dice in on eKylo before Dooku rolls in with 2 force chokes and a force throw. So eKylo comes in, gets a disrupt, a shield, a resource, and a +1 resource. Dooku rolls in, gets a 2 disrupt, a focus, and 2 force choke specials. So Robertson rerolls everything, gets a 1 resource, a shield, a holocron special, a eKylo special, a shield, and a shield. And of course shields aren't going to help him against the force chokes because they deal unblockable damage. Jeff rolls in Grievous, gets a 1 disrupt and a 3 melee for 1.
How many resources do you have?
None.
Okay.
So now it's not a particularly helpful move, but Dooku could choke Grievous to set his dice to the sides he likes. Robertson's resolving a holocron special.
Even better.
Do you have too many cards now?
And it looks like Robertson might have 1 too many cards, so he probably drew too many cards in the upkeep phase, so they've asked the TO to come over and just resolve that.
Okay.
Because those are not...
So they did sort of a random discard, and they put them at the bottom of the deck there. As long as both players are happy with it, then it's alright. So he puts the mind probe in there for the holocron, pays 1 to roll it in, gets a 2 disrupt. Not what he was looking for, obviously.
And are you doing any other specials?
Yeah, I guess. Okay, thank you.
And then Robertson resolves the eKylo special into I'm assuming Grievous, and hits No Mercy for 2. So Dooku is focusing the Grievous die into a 2 melee. So it might be nice to use the immobilize action to blanket, or take a couple of shields or something. But he might have some die mitigation in his hand.
Any resources?
No resources.
Looks like he's taking 1 shield with the Vader die. I probably would have used the eKylo die for the shield, but maybe he's expecting Vader to die and he wants to use Vader's dice up first. I don't know. So just resolving 2 force chokes
2 unblockable.
into Vader and blanking Vader's force choke. So it's unblockable, so Vader only has 3 hit points remaining, but he's got that shield on him still.
That die to turn this to a blank.
And then Robertson uses Immobilize's action to blank Grievous' die. He's moved the Immobilized die off his board, so be careful when you do that. Always put it back on the card it came from or the character, because you can forget to roll your dice back in the next turn if you're not careful.
Oh, mobilize. Yes. Yes.
So Jeff can always claim and then use his 4th throw special to throw the 3 at Vader there and put him at 1 health. Robertson's taking the shield on Vader there.
I'll claim.
Yep, so Jeff is claiming and then throwing the 3 melee for 1 into Vader there. So Vader has 2 hit points remaining. Robertson could have claimed to take Jeff's options away.
Says holocron on Kylo. Says holocron on Vader.
So he's played at a holocron on both characters and then played pulling the strings.
I went and competed at US Max and at Worlds, and there were 3 teams. There were the bard variations. There was
Pulling the string says look at the top 3 cards of any deck, then place those cards on the top and or bottom of that deck in any order. So Robertson was just using that to stack up what he's going to be seeing next turn, which is pretty useful, especially when Vader's only got a few hit points left. I'm the TO. I'm the only one that's allowed to do this. If there's any illegal game state, step in. Well, that's one of the problems with putting them underneath each other, is it's easy to forget.
Yeah, what I have.
So it looks like Robertson has spread out his upgrades there, so it's easier for everyone to follow, which is kind of nice.
So I'll activate Grievous.
So Grievous is coming in here first action, getting a 2 melee and a 1 disrupt. So Vader is dead unless Robertson has something in his hand that he can use to mitigate that, like a isolation. And it looks like he had just that.
Okay, I will activate Dooku.
And in comes Dooku. Gets a blank, a disrupt, a 1 resource, and a force choke special. So that's one of the 2 damage he needs to kill Vader.
Vader will activate discard a card.
Vader comes in with a blank, a 1 discard, and a holocron special. So Vader, his dice, I mean the best I've seen on a Vader die all game is what, a 2 disrupt?
Go on. Force strike.
Jeff uses force strike and sets the Dooku die to 2 and finish off Vader there. So Vader was not helping Kylo much at this game at all, unfortunately. Sometimes the dice just don't roll your way. With 1 Vader die, he's not quite as impactful as he would be in a Vader Raider type deck. Robertson has done a total of 3 damage this game so far, which is pretty measly.
Kylo will activate.
Kylo rolls in, gets a 3 range for 1, a 2 melee for 1, a 2 melee for 1, a shield, and a holocron special. So unfortunately, Robertson's only got 2 resources, but that's a lot of damage.
Spend 1.
So Jeff is resolving Power of the Force to resolve the 1 disrupt into a 3 disrupt and get rid of Robertson's money, which is a really good card considering what Robertson had showing on his dice there.
Discard Mantra.
So Robertson is discarding to reroll. He gets a 2 discard, a blank, and a shield. So that is far worse than all the other sides that he had before, except without the money it wouldn't do him much good anyway. So Jeff is discarding to reroll. He's rerolling all 3, I guess. He gets a blank, a discard, and a 2 disrupt. So Robertson's resolving the 2 discard to dump Jeff's hand there. So Jeff can claim and do a force choke whenever Robertson rolls into something useful. If he thinks that holocron special is something important, then he can do that. He resolves the discard and pulls a force strike out of Robertson's hand. Robertson takes 2 shields and puts them on Kylo.
Claim 1 1 damage.
And then Jeff claims,
This is a
resolves the 4-stroke special with the battlefield ability, does 1 damage to Kylo, and blanks the holocron. So Robertson's got free reign here, but he's got no money, 2 cards in hand, and 2 blanks on the board, so doesn't look like he's doing much. He still hasn't used his It Binds All Things, but he's been putting those holocrons to work so much that I guess he hasn't needed it. So it looks like he passed, and we'll be starting the next round. I was playing Kylo New Vader in the release tournament the other day, and I found Kylo's dice to be not all that useful. And of course, also his special. There's a lot of decks that only have 0 to 2 cost cards, so it wasn't doing much. So Jeff paid 2 and override a 4-stroke with a Mind Probe,
activate Dooku.
and then Robertson did the same. Dooku rolls in, gets a 2 disrupt, a 2 melee, a 4-stroke special, and a 1 ranged.
Activate Kylo.
So Kylo rolls in, he has a 2 melee, a 2 discard, a holocron special, a 1 melee, and a Mind Probe special. Jeff has 4 cards in hand, I believe. So that's going to hurt. Of course, Jeff's got the Force Choke.
Burn your shield.
Jeff uses Intimidate to remove Robertson's shields and Kylo there.
Mind Probe.
Robertson resolves the Mind Probe for 3,
And swap out Sith Holocron. And paying 1.
and then the holocron special to put a Force Choke in. Is he going to pay 1 to roll it in? It looks like he did. And he gets a 1 resource.
I'll activate
Grievous comes in, gets a blank and a resource. Robertson resolves the 1 melee into Grievous, so Grievous has 3 hit points remaining, which is still not very much. So Jeff discards and rerolls. And he gets a 1 resource, a 2 melee, a 2 disrupt, and a 2 discard.
Battlefield, turning this to a how many cards do you have in hand?
2.
Robertson's considering claiming the battlefield and going for the kill with a Kylo special, but the odds of Jeff having a 3-coster in his hand are probably pretty low. The Mind Probe will only do 2, so I'd be tempted to go for a reroll. So it looks like he's claiming and he's resolving the Kylo special into Grievous. And does he hit? Deflect. So if it was a lightsaber, then Grievous would be dead. But this is going to get ugly real quick here, because Jeff's got free reign. He's got a resource showing. He's got Force Choke, 4 melee showing.
Let's discard this.
Jeff is discarding to reroll some dice here.
These 3.
He rerolls and gets a Force Throw, a 3 melee for 1, and a 2 disrupt. So that Force Throw and the 3 melee for 1s are doing some work here.
Throw this.
So Jeff has 8 damage on the board there,
2 for 3.
which would leave Kylo with 2 hit
I'll
points.
deal 4.
He Force Throws the 3 into Kylo, does 4 melee,
Then I'll
and then
deal 1.
Force Choke Kylo. If Grievous didn't roll the 3 melee for 1, he could have Force Choke Kylo, set the Mind Probe to the 3 range for 1, and then thrown it in his face too.
1, 2.
So it's looking like this is pretty much over here.
Kylo activates.
Kylo rolls in, gets a 1 discard, a 1 melee, a 2 melee for 1, a blank, and a Mind Probe special. So I think Jeff needs to just give up on Grievous here and roll in Dooku and go for the kill. I'm not sure where Robertson's keeping his money this turn, but
Let's activate Dooku.
Jeff rolls in Dooku, gets a 3 range for 1, a 1 melee, a 4 sword special, and a discard. Robertson resolves melee into Grievous, and then dies to the Mind Probe.
I'll kill you.
So that is the end of the finals. Jeff went 2-0 and has won the tournament. So congratulations to you, Jeff. So we will begin the coverage of our next tournament once we have it filmed and done some editing. Should be next week. So keep an eye out for that. And I hope you liked the video and our tournament coverage. If you do, please like and subscribe, and we'll continue to bring you Destiny content. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next time.